Welcome to another edition of Plugged In with Eco Energy. And we've got a little bit of an interesting one today. It's not necessarily focusing on electrical, but it's focusing on another topic that is actually really key and important. And we're seeing a lot of pressure nowadays. One of which is this concept of go to school, finish high school, get good grades, go to college, get a degree, and earn a good living.
Plug in eco energy. Let's go. Plug in eco energy. Eco. Don't let eco energy. You know.
And as we're seeing more and more and more kids graduating college, looking for that job that's going to pay them what they need to support themselves and to get their feet on the ground, they're unable to find that. And we interview quite a few young people that went to college and are having trouble finding their feet in today's economy. And part of which is, the technological advances that have been made. Everybody likes to blame AI for the job losses, but I don't even think we've scratched the surface on the job losses from AI yet. But
No.
And just to open up a little bit about my own personal story and why I chose the trades, I think it's interesting.
Oh, absolutely.
I started in the trades when I was 16. It was not by choice. My dad opened up an HVAC company, and he said, "Hey, you're my right hand man. You're gonna ride shotgun and be my helper." And when you're 16, you just say, "Okay," and so that's what we did. And for the next 2 years, I spent the time sitting next to my dad in the truck, learning the trade of heating and air conditioning. By the time I was 18, I was in my own service truck and actually doing work for the company. And that was my transition from childhood into workdom. My parents they were not college graduates, and my dad, well, they were both kind of in the same mindset of, hey, go out and find a trade that you want to do and do your best, be the best whatever you can do and do well at it. And I don't think that's bad advice. I was kind of lonely, though. All my friends went off to college because I'm of the era when it was really the next step, the next logical step out of high school was go to college. And so my friends went off to college, and I stayed at home and worked a little bit, whatever. But at 18, I decided to start my first business. And by the time I was 21, I had already made my first $1 million. So I think it turned out all right. We've had a lot of years since then. But that was my experience. I learned early on that the trades pay, and they pay very well. And if you're diligent about your money, and I think the thing that they should teach kids in school is financial responsibility, much less, how to pay taxes and how to do that stuff. But that's my opinion. Con?
Yeah, I mean, I had a slightly different intro into it, I would think, but obviously I've been around you my whole life. I've been exposed to the trades that entire time, really. And so when I was kind of deciding what I wanted to do when I turned 18, I had a few options in front of me. And college was one that was pushed on me by most people. Were I guess recommending recommending that I go to college, and I did in junior and senior year of high school. I took all dual credit college classes at a local university around here, and I did it in business, which is what a lot of people, I think that's one of the top four majors that people go for. And what I learned was that I've always had this inclination towards self-learning. I was homeschooled my entire life.
Yeah.
In everything I did, there was a ton of self-learning. And what I learned pretty early on is that I could learn a lot more at a much faster rate if I was doing it myself and actually learning and practicing and, honestly failing on my own and accelerating that whole process.
Yeah.
And it was aided by the fact that I didn't really enjoy the classes that I was going to. I felt like most of them were a waste of time and just not accelerating me at the rate I wanted to do. So I looked for another option, and I kind of found one here in the trades.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up in a trades household. You grew up in a trades household. You got to see a little bit of the brighter side of the trades career. Back when I was a kid, the trades were still significantly underpaid. And I remember my dad really, really struggling financially. And that was hard as a kid growing up, seeing that and thinking that, I got to do better. I got to do better than this. And so that I chose the trades as my vocation, my method of making money.
Right.
But I knew the only way I was going to ever do well was going to be to start my own business, which is why I did it at 18.
Right.
I saw the people that I thought were rich, and all of them own their own business. So it was a pretty clear path to me on, okay, if I'm ever going to escape this like financial crunch every week, I'm gonna have to do something way bigger than find a job. But that's a whole nother topic for another day. So we got the numbers, and this is one thing that we really kind of looked at. And when Conrad was deciding to make that college decision, we wanted to make sure that all your options were open to you.
Oh yeah.
We've been very fortunate people, and we didn't want an overwhelming amount of debt to I guess influence that decision.
Right.
And in so much as offering to make sure that you were financially in a good spot because of it. And a lot of parents do that, and that's awesome. But not everybody.
Yeah. I mean, I know a lot of people who are in both positions,
Yeah.
I mean, I can think of two people in particular right now, one of which is going to college, and he's self-funding his entire way through, and he's, working hard at multiple jobs the entire time.
Yeah.
And still taking on debt.
Well, it's that kid who's going to be successful no matter what he does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. It's very interesting, though, to kind of look at the system, right? I remember back in school, I hated school the entire time I was in it, and
I didn't notice.
But what that kind of led to is me wondering, why am I wasting so much time, or in my mind wasting so much time at what I was doing? And so I did research on it, and what I found is that like the last time the education system was majorly revamped was the Industrial Revolution.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And the idea there was to create cookie cutter people who would fit into slots to make the Industrial Revolution turn the way that it has. And that mold has not been broken for so long. And I kind of think that Gen Z is the first generation to really notice what's happening, or maybe not notice, but take action.
It's been it's been being noticed for a while. In fact, I recently listened to another podcast on that very topic.
Yeah.
And the way that they teach and learn and motivate kids to learn is very different than the way the school system is. But I don't want to focus too much on the school system because, in all of its problems, it's the thing that everybody has to go through.
Right.
But what I kind of want to talk about is why kids today are choosing the trades over college.
Right.
Maybe is the right word. Or what's interesting enough, I had a call the other day from a good friend of mine, and his son is in college and really enjoying it. I mean, he's a football player, and he's loving all that part of it. And he said to his dad, when when I graduate college, I think I want to get into the trades. And his dad is very supportive of whatever they want to do. They're just good family. And but he thought that was interesting and brought it up to me when we were talking the other day. Is like,
Yeah.
oh, I was talking to him the other day, and he mentioned after college he wants to go into the trades, and we're seeing a lot more of that now than ever before.
Yeah.
Why is that? You're a Gen Z. Why don't you
I
shed a
mean,
little insight?
there's a lot of fear about the job market after college right now.
Sure.
I mean, we have a lot of things kind of coming up, and it's interesting to me to look at, like, AI is the big, like, buzzword
Unknown.
topic that people cite.
Yeah.
And it is a real problem, especially for juniors.
Yeah.
Like junior employees coming in. You look at junior software devs. I mean, any industry pretty much. The juniors are going to be the first people that AI can kind of replace.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So we see companies cutting massive amounts of people. And first off, I think that's the wrong move, because, like, look at a company like NVIDIA, right? NVIDIA is hiring like they never have before. And they're hiring juniors because they want those juniors to be accelerated by those tools.
Yep.
And, you know, become better seniors than they've ever seen before. But the fact is that not every company is doing that.
Right.
And so
yeah.
there are a lot of them that are making the opposite decision of, we can cut personnel and, you know, not pay them what they're realistically
I think
worth.
that's the trend.
Yeah.
Is like, okay, we're gonna figure out how many people we can replace with AI. And right now, I think at last glance, I heard that AI, as it sits right now, can replace 11% of our workforce, which is a gigantic number.
Yeah.
You know. So outside of that, you know, when talking to a lot of young people, I think a lot of it is, like you said, fear and uncertainty. The other thing is walking out of school with large amounts of debt.
Yeah, I mean, that's massive. Right now, there is $1.9 trillion
Yeah.
of student loan debt in the U.S. 42 million Americans carry student loan debt.
That's a big percentage.
We're in a country of 300 million people. That's
Yeah.
gigantic.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, there are the student debt is a trap because you can't bankrupt out of it.
Right.
The kids have no choice but to, like, literally work the rest of their lives paying off a decision they made when they were probably too young to agree to that level of debt. And that's what bothers me about the education system, is they're preying on young people. They're overpromising and under-delivering.
Yeah.
And I remember most specifically, and this is a prime example, my brother, when he was thinking about going to college, and he did, and he graduated from a really prestigious college with $130,000 in debt.
Yeah.
And by the time 7 years later, when he was finally able to pay it off, it had ballooned to $260,000. And he called me the day he paid off the debt and said, I wrote a check today for $260,000 to pay off my student loan, which he had gotten because he went off on his own and started his own business and generated that, you know, cash to be able to pay it off. But that is a very realistic, and people just figure it into their budgets. Like, I'm going to have this student loan payment the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And that's what they don't tell you in school, is how long it's going to take you to pay it off and what your interest rates are going to go into. And a lot of people end up with the inability to pay it back, or they go through this process, which I know he was in for a long time. He got out of college. I told him, go online and look and see what your career path pays.
Right.
And decide from there if it can support the amount of debt you're taking on, of which, you know, the average out of school pay for what he was looking to do is like $43,000. But the university that he went to told him that, oh, no, we place kids at $70,000, $75,000 all the time, and that's what he made his decision on. And when he got out of college, when he graduated, his first job was like $43,000 or $44,000 a year.
Yeah.
So it was a lie, and nobody's being held accountable. I'm really aggravated about it. Nonetheless, we've got some like really cool things happening.
Yeah.
One of which is we've had a vacuum, or a reduced amount of people in the trades for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
The average tradesperson is aging. I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of us are Gen Xers, and we're getting toward the end of our careers, and we did not have a steady supply of people replacing. I think the average, I think there's 10,000 electricians. Are you familiar with any of these stats? How many
Somewhat.
electricians retire a year?
It's a lot more than 10,000.
No, it's like 10,000 a day that end up
Right.
retaring out,
Yep.
and they're only replaced by like 3,000 coming in or something
Yes.
like that.
Yeah, it's about 30% is being replaced to
Correct.
the amount that are retiring. It's a deficit that can't be supported.
It's very difficult to support.
Yeah.
Which is why we get a lot of, well, we've had a stress on the industry right now with too much work for too little staff. So there's never any want for projects or work. It's just a matter of finding enough people to handle it.
Right.
And that's been a struggle for a long time. However, we're seeing the tide change.
Yeah.
And I'm encouraged by the amount of young people that we're able to attract from our company,
Yeah.
the amount of young people we're able to attract, because we have an apprenticeship program, a Department of Labor approved apprenticeship program. I mean, they can come and in 4 years' time have a really good understanding of all things electrical,
Yeah.
have their electrical license, be able to, make a very healthy living. Electrician is a great trade to be in, and I often, tell people all the time, like, this is it's not hard work. I mean, it's not easy work, but it's
Right.
certainly not like digging ditches all day.
Yeah.
You don't think of like, I think of hard work as like a cement contractor.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, like, or an asphalt contractor. That's hard.
That's
roofing.
the toughest guy I know. There's one guy at the archery club that I volunteer with, and I like to think of myself as like a guy
Yeah.
who can do a decent bit of work,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Hard work. We clear trees every once in a while over there, and I know a concrete guy that, my God, he's about your age, and
Yeah.
he can run circles around me.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's insane the type of physical labor that some of these guys
Yeah.
do, but like. Realistically, that's not what we do.
No.
And like you said, it's not easy work.
It's not.
You're gonna sweat. There are
Yep.
days that you're gonna be moving some dirt.
Yep.
But really, it's not that bad.
No, it's not. And when you think about you actually have this apprenticeship experience. Well, we pay our apprentices.
Yep.
I think we pay pretty well.
Yeah.
And also they're able to learn. We pay for their time learning. They have in-classroom time that's paid time for them.
Yeah.
And it's really an opportunity to develop a skill set, develop a trade. And I think the goal is to keep people around for a long time, so we treat people right and offer them the benefits that are competitive and a compelling wage, and people like to stay around. But what I've seen is a lot of the young people that have come to us have had zero experience
Yeah.
with just tools, and that's a little different from my, I guess, generation.
Right.
My generation, I think we were around more dads that were more handyman type of guys, and they didn't call the mechanic every time something broke. I mean, we fixed our own cars. We fixed everything, man. And I don't ever remember a service person ever coming into our house as a kid. Like,
Yeah.
no, Dad can fix it. Dad can fix it. So with that in mind, like, we get a lot of kids that have grown up with Dad picking up the phone and calling the electrician for the electrical problem, or taking the car to the mechanic for the mechanical problem. So we've got a lot of kids who don't know basic tool use and safety. So we teach them that and kind of like build on that, and safety always first and foremost. But
Yeah.
I think there's a really big trend now for kids, even graduates of college, to say, you know what, we're going to go into the trades and we're going to do that now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems
It-
to be.
I mean, it's insane every time I hear it.
Yeah.
Of somebody who got out of college and is either like already in the trades. I mean,
Yeah.
I know we have at least one right now who is considering dropping out of college and
Yeah.
jumping in the trades, and just people I know from my personal life that are in
Yeah.
college or just graduated college that either are not using their degree in
Yeah.
their field or have jumped all the way over to the trades.
I mean, we need more people to come into the trades.
Yeah.
We're always marketing for people who
Well,
want to join our team.
by 2030, it's projected that we're going to have a deficit or a lack of 500,000 electricians that we need.
Yeah.
And that isn't just electrical, it's all trade wise. I know the number's better for electrical than any other trade,
Right.
but it's everywhere
Yeah.
that we don't have enough people. And what's pretty cool is that we're actually on the right trajectory.
Yeah.
We're electrical apprenticeship applications are up 70% since 2022.
Yeah.
So
That's
those
great.
are the numbers
Yeah.
to kind of go with these anecdotal things that we're seeing.
We're actually seeing some shifts in the trends, which
Right.
are great because we absolutely need them.
Yeah.
Every electrician I talk to is like, yeah, I could use 10 more guys. I could
Yeah.
use 10 more guys. I mean, we're in the same boat. I mean, we could use a bunch more guys, especially in the summertime when we got a lot of projects going on.
Yeah.
It's very frustrating not to have trained people on at the ready, you know. So that is a thing. And you know what? It's interesting. I got a phone call yesterday. It was a brand new customer we've never done work for before, and we were doing a lighting retrofit for them. And he's an older guy. He called me and said, "Hey, I got your number from he got my number from the sales guy. I gave him permission to give him my number, and so he said, I really need to tell you that when your people showed up on the job, I was a little concerned."
Yeah.
And he said they look very young, and he's like, I'm an older guy, and I was a little bit nervous. Like, I have a really hard time with younger people because I can't seem to get them to
Right.
work, and I can't this and I can't that. And he's like, I just wanted to say that your people were absolutely the most professional. They were courteous, they were respectful, they cleaned up after themselves, and they did a phenomenal job doing our electrical.
Yeah.
And I said, well, that's interesting because several of the people that were out there are licensed electricians already, even though they
Yeah.
look very young.
Right.
These people, that they're the desire to learn and to grow and to develop themselves is there, and it's just a really exciting time. And I see it time and time again. Like, we have huge success with Gen Zs.
Yeah.
Huge, way more success than we ever had with millennials.
Yeah.
And not to knock millennials, because we've got, I mean, all of our crew leads are, well, some of our crew leads are millennials, but you know, that's the exception, not the rule. I think we're gonna have a lot more Gen Zs that are gonna be crew leads and that are gonna be in that zone than we've seen before.
Yeah.
But I think every generation produces the cream of the crop, and I guess when you want more for yourself, you stand out, and you take the extra steps that not everybody does.
Yeah. Now there's another interesting thing that, I mean, I know I've been told before
Right.
by people, and most of the people I know have been told this before. The you'll make more money with a degree, right? And
Yeah.
it's important that that's not necessarily false, right?
Not
For
necessarily.
some things
Right.
it's true, for some it's not.
Right.
You know, people love to throw that little phrase out. College graduates earn $1 million more over a lifetime.
Right.
And you know, if you're talking about engineers, doctors, lawyers, yeah, on average that's probably true.
Yeah.
But that's not what most people get degrees in. Right?
Correct.
The most popular majors in America are business administration, psychology, communications, and criminal justice. The median salary for those graduates is $45,000 to $55,000 a year.
Yeah.
right?
Which
That's-
you'll make in your first year as an electrician.
You're right. That's less than
Yeah.
a journeyman electrician, and they have a significant amount of debt on top of that.
Yeah.
That they're not paying down. And what I think got kind of pushed to the wayside for a long time, and I guess you kind of addressed a point I've never thought about here, is when you were coming up, the trades were undervalued
Yeah.
by quite a bit. And in my lifetime, I haven't seen probably nearly as much of that as you have.
It's interesting because you hang around people, and I got asked early on a lot because I owned a construction company when I was in my young 20s, and I had 65 employees.
Right.
And I'm at project meetings with like the state of Illinois or some, they're like, "Where did you go to college?" Like,
Yeah.
I missed that. I missed that class. I never did go to college, and like, holy cow, like, you've really done really well not going to college. And like, well, I just really applied myself, and I think that anybody, especially today, I
Yeah.
mean, literally Harvard puts all of their classes online. Like you can take all of Harvard's classes and never leave your house. If you have that natural curiosity and you have that natural desire to do more and to be more, you're gonna make more money. You're gonna be more successful. You're gonna push yourself harder. I always saw that income was not a direct relation to your education level, but your application level.
Yeah.
So you can be the smartest guy in the world. In fact, I know some very, very, very smart people that don't make maybe a tenth of what I do.
Right.
And it's because they're very smart, but they don't apply themselves. Like they don't use that knowledge in order to their benefit, essentially,
Yeah.
or to the benefit of other people.
Right.
Because essentially, that's what we do. Like other people, we benefit other people, and there's a trade, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
The trade-off is, good quality work for what people need done, and we're able to do that, and then they reward us by paying us.
Yeah.
It's kind of I can't remember what they call that, the exchange of value,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? The value exchange,
Right.
and it's got to be good for both. But anyway, kind of like getting back into that whole concept of earning more because you went to college, and it's been a topic that I've had conversations with a lot of people, because most of my friends are college graduates, I would say.
Yeah.
Not because I picked them, but because they're in the same income bracket as I am. And so, we have these conversations, and it's more along the lines of it was a lie.
Yeah.
They don't attribute their education to where they are today.
Right.
They attribute hard work and kind of like some lucky breaks.
Yeah.
Maybe your ability to sell yourself. And in fact, some of the salespeople I know make more than anybody else.
Oh yeah.
And they never went to college. I don't know any sales guy that went to college, but that's another complete vertical that you don't need an education for. And if you're good with people, you can make a lot of money.
Right. And honestly, I recommend that to everybody. I get asked fairly frequently, like, what skill is the most important that I've developed? And it's my ability to sell. I heard this opinion one time that like every position, once you get up to a certain level, is a sales position.
Oh yeah.
You're just selling a different thing. You might be selling your project to senior management, or you might be selling yourself and your brand to a customer, whatever that may be. At a certain level, everything is a sales position, and being good with people and being good at convincing others that your way is the best possible way to go is such an important
It's
skill.
all boils back to that value exchange.
Yeah.
If people see value in it, they'll do it. If they don't see value in it, they're not going to move forward. And what is your story? How well can you sell your story?
Yeah.
That's a big part of that value exchange there.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, is AI coming for electrical jobs?
I don't think so. Not anytime
I don't know.
soon.
I don't know. I think at some point it may.
Yeah, I mean, nothing's impossible, right?
I heard a podcast yesterday that they are building robots in for shipyards, welding ships.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, they're building a whole fleet of welding robots essentially.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah, I mean, it really is crazy.
And as they do those like single task things, like they get a lot of information. They learn how to program. They do this. They do that a little bit differently. And I know Elon's been working on that. You know, every house will have a robot in it.
Right.
And man, I can't wait. I don't love vacuuming and cleaning the floor, so we'll have one as soon as Elon's got them out. But at the end of the day, there are some like definite physical and I don't know what I can't necessarily say like evaluation skills maybe is the right word that electricians have to face.
I think it's critical thinking, honestly.
Well, yeah. And as we've seen, AI is not great at that.
No. AI is a language model that is predictive.
Right.
So it is going to be very difficult to get that to handle the one-off type of things that we deal with.
And if you've been playing with AI long enough, you absolutely see its limitations.
Yeah. Here's one of my favorite, Marquez Brownlee is a very big tech YouTuber.
Okay.
And he had this amazing idea when AI was like first coming out, and it still stands true today.
Yeah.
He said, what are you passionate about, right? What do you like really care and know just a ton about?
Yeah.
Ask AI to tell you about that topic.
Okay.
And you're going to start rating, and you're going to go, oh, yeah, that's right. That's cool. It knows that. It knows that. It knows that. And then you're going to read one thing, and it's like, oh, you missed the mark.
Okay.
Right? You're wrong on that.
Yeah.
And that's that little like last 10% is going to be extremely difficult.
Really important.
Yeah.
So I mean, and we use AI a lot.
Yeah.
No doubt. But whenever I get an email that I can tell is generated by AI, I'm like, oh my goodness, please stop. You know, like I don't need AI to answer questions that I just asked you. I need you to give me your answers. And by using AI, I mean, yeah, use AI maybe to think about it from a different angle or use it whatever. But don't answer emails with AI because it's very obvious that if you've read enough things that are written by AI, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah. And so it's definitely got limitations. And I think like, you know, when I think about what our people do, you know, they're on scissor lifts. They're on, you know, they're in bucket trucks. They're in precarious positions oftentimes, and they have to decide how to get a pipe from point A to point B with the obstructions that are in the way.
Yeah.
Could AI do that? I mean, maybe, but could AI do that and also like make the homeowner feel like they're, you know, like they've got value and making them feel happy and. You know, I don't know that is going to happen.
Here's another important thing is the safety aspect, right? An AI can absolutely make mistakes, and so can a human, right? 100%. Yeah. But there's the certain level of critical thinking that a human can go through of, you know, I'm not sure about that. I'm not going to energize it yet. Yeah. Where an AI might make the wrong decision, and I think where a lot of the pushback is going to come is actually from the AHJs, your inspectors, your cities, stuff like that simply won't allow like an AI bot licensed electrician, whatever, simply for that reason. And I think I don't disagree that it might be possible at some point. Yeah. But I do think we're really
we're at least 10 years off. I think from having anything that would even come close to working.
You know, when you ask Gen Z what they think are the top 5 most like the jobs that AI is coming for right now, and then the lowest 5. Okay. The top 5 are number 1 is software developers, right? Yeah. Number 2 is accountants and bookkeepers. Then we have graphic designers.
That's 100%. I mean, we use AI now. We'll run our P&L through AI and say, well, what do you think? Yeah. You know, right? And I could do that, but now I could do that with our accountant. Yeah. But now I'm paying $250 an hour to listen to them spew out what I could have got for free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The least risk that Gen Z says, number 1 is electricians, number 2 is plumbers, number 3 is HVAC techs,
Okay.
and we have welders and construction
Yeah, all
workers.
manual labor jobs.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I think that's probably why we're seeing the push into the trades.
Yep.
And I think if you really want to look at the trades, I think, from the perspective of hardest to easiest.
Yeah.
Well, show me that list again. I'll rank them. Okay, hardest to easiest. Probably labor-wise, construction workers. Mental, I would say HVAC technicians.
Yep.
That's probably the hardest to learn. Welders, it's hot. It's very physically demanding. And then the two outstanding are plumbers and electricians. And I think those two might be the actual easiest physically.
Yeah.
But certainly not the easiest mentally.
Right.
Because I mean, if you haven't seen our code book, it's 1,000 pages or more.
Yeah.
I have one handy right next to me. They're always just right nearby. And there's no, you can say you know the code, but you don't really know the code.
Right.
It's just very difficult, and you have to use your head, and you have to be able to think, and you have to be able to figure out a problem and to solve the problem and to know where in the code to find the solution.
Yep.
That's not always easy.
No.
So yeah, if you want more brain work, I guess electrician, and I know the plumbers have a code as well. It seems to me like they're not so, their code isn't as hard to learn in and out. But I mean, you go back to electrical 101 if you want to talk about like electrical theory. I mean, we don't even know how electricity works for real.
Yeah.
Like, we have theory. We think we know.
Yeah.
But we can't scientifically prove which way the little pixies travel along the lines. So there's just a lot. There's a lot there. And that's why we take 4 years in our apprenticeship program, because we start at the very beginning. What is an atom? How does an atom work? And then from the atom, how do the electrons travel along the line? And kind of like from square one, conceptually, how does this work? And then we can build a foundation, because it's so much easier to learn, like why we use, why we bond a neutral and a ground in the main panel, and
But
why
not
we
in the
don't do it in
sub-panel.
the sub panels,
Yep.
right? So but if you understand how electricity works and how the electrons flow along the copper wire, you're able to like visually go, oh, okay, now I can figure that out, right?
Yeah.
So it's important to go through the whole process.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's also true. And that's one of the things that so many people don't realize is like how much thinking and how much knowledge is required.
Yeah.
Like you said, nobody truly knows the code. There are some people that have a great understanding of the code.
Yeah.
But it's impossible
And
to memorize.
I will
everything.
say, if you really apply yourself and you really just study the like you can work full time as an electrician and just study. You can get your license inside of a year.
Oh, yeah. We've seen it happen.
We've seen it happen in our own team. However, that doesn't give you all of the, like, I've seen this, I know how that works. So that's why the process takes a little longer, because you really do need to go through all those things. And I think trying to rush some people through that licensing kind of robbed them of maybe the overall experience that they should have gotten.
Oh, yeah.
And that's kind of why we decided to take a second look at it, and we want everybody who works for us to be licensed. That's our goal.
Yeah.
However, we're going to take a little bit more time. We're going to get them a little more prepared and a little more comfortable, because we were getting comments even after they took their electrical exam and passed. They're like, yeah, I still don't feel like I should be a licensed electrician.
Right,
Okay, we're
yeah.
going to take it back. We're going to start, and we're going to get you a little deeper.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think, without like jumping, go back up a little bit. I think without jumping, there are some times when college really does make sense.
Oh, yeah.
I think you highlighted some of them, but
Here's like what I always think of. I walk into my doctor's office, right?
Yeah.
Do I want my doctor to be a college educated person? Absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely, I
Yeah.
do. I want them to have that knowledge base that comes with it.
yeah,
But yeah, it's great for some, it's not great for others.
I think the problem that we had was we put everybody on the path to college.
Yeah.
Is we kind of like shifted the push from schools from they used to offer trades as well, and then
Yeah.
they stopped, and that's where we saw the huge vacuum in the trade side going, hey, nobody's learning how to weld, nobody's learning how to frame, nobody's learning how to do this stuff because the schools are pushing everybody toward higher education.
Yeah.
And it that backfired on us as a country, really did. And now we're trying to recover, but we're still not quite there yet.
And I mean, there's absolutely still a stigma there. I remember both in my high school classes and college classes, people would ask me where I was planning to go to college. And, sometimes I would tell them that I was thinking about going for business. Sometimes I would say I was, thinking about going into electrical. And every time when I said that I was thinking about going into business, they were like, oh, yeah, that's awesome. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
And almost every time I said I was thinking about going into electrical, they were like, oh, really? Why?
Yeah.
Right? It always got questioned.
It's got a stigma.
Right.
Like the blue collar had a stigma for a
Yeah.
long time.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's going to take a while to eliminate.
Yeah.
But I mean, even the Wall Street Journal picked up on it that the next round of millionaires are plumbers,
Right.
or
yeah.
HVAC. I think they said HVAC.
They
actually.
did one for plumbers, one for HVAC.
Okay,
I
yeah.
remember seeing stories for both.
Your next
And-
round of millionaires is blue collar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what's been so exciting to me is to kind of see the shift almost in
Yeah.
real time
Yeah.
of, I was the only one in my class. I had a small class that was thinking about going into the trades. And now, from what I hear, that's no longer true in
Oh.
those classes.
Interesting.
And that's it's pretty cool to me.
Yeah. So let's talk about your experience a little bit.
Yeah.
You joined us right out of high school.
Yeah.
Without, excuse me, without, you had some college classes,
Yeah.
but not a degree. How has that worked out for you? And you're only a year and a half or 2 years into this?
Yeah, just under 2 years.
Just under 2 years into this. How do you feel about where you're at, personally, financially, with your peer groups? Where do you feel like you fall?
It's interesting. And I had my best friend ask me this the other day because she's in college right now.
Yeah.
And she was asking me if I regret not going.
Oh.
And honestly, my answer was it depends on the day.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Some days I'm very happy that
Yeah.
I didn't go and that I chose the path that I'm on. And other days, like, I go visit my friends at college, and the college experience
Oh,
is
yeah.
something that people told me a lot about. And I didn't understand it at
Mm-hmm.
the time, but kind of seeing what it's actually like hanging out with them there,
Yeah.
I can kind of understand it.
Yeah.
So there are some things about it, but when I sit down and kind of critically think about it,
Yeah.
am I willing to take on that much debt and that much time out of my life to have fun for a few more years, with more people? I don't think so. And I can't honestly say that I think I would have been better off taking more time and going and finishing that degree.
Yeah.
Looking at the people around me and, you asked in my peer group, financially, I'm far ahead of everyone in my peer group. It's
Right.
a completely different shift.
And do you feel like your trajectory will continue to go up as you age and as you gain experience?
Oh, absolutely. I have no doubt about that. I mean, I truly do feel like I started in a position that has exponential room for growth.
Okay.
Even to the point that I probably can't fully understand how
Do you
much.
feel like the trades experience has held you back for future development and growth?
Oh, absolutely not. Yeah. No, I mean, I've learned so much and grown so much
Yeah.
in the past couple of years.
Yeah.
I can't fathom a world where that ends up or has held me back.
it used to be said, and even when I was young, like, well, you should learn a trade, while you're young, because you can always fall back on it.
Right.
Right? Is that kind of the case now? Or are people looking at the trades as, okay, well, if I don't make it, I can always go, be an electrician or rent on a car or whatever.
I had a friend in high school who said that pretty often. Like if I don't actually get into, he was looking to get into the medical field.
Yeah.
If I don't get into the medical field and get the job I want, I can always go fall back and be whatever.
Okay.
And I'm actually not sure where he's at right now or how he's doing.
Yeah.
But he's the only one I can think of who said that.
Yeah, that was a big thing when I was young, but
Yeah.
yeah. And if you're watching this podcast or listening to it and you're 18 and trying to figure out what you want to do for the rest of your life, I think a strong consideration is the trades. I think that's the next group that you're going to want to be part of. It's very, very, very achievable to, land yourself with a good company making 80 to 100,000 a year within a couple years of graduating high school.
Yeah.
And that's when you look at that, if you say, well, the average person who graduated college, they don't take into account like just the people that don't even attempt life, right?
Right, yeah.
We're just going to live on the government the rest of our lives because that's in the mix as well.
Right.
So the actual income disparity is much smaller. And if you think, well, if I go right out of high school and work for 4 years, that puts you 200,000 ahead or maybe a little more.
Yeah, 4 years out of high school, they find that the wealth, like what is it?
Net worth.
Net worth,
Yeah.
the net worth disparity between a tradesperson and a person who went to college is just over 150,000.
Okay.
A tradesperson ahead. That's
Yeah.
4 years out of college.
And arguably that's the most important time of your life to earn money because you put that away, and by the time you're 60, retirement age, that money is.
Well, 70 odd some percent of college graduates say that they have put major life decisions, that's getting married, buying a house, or having kids.
Okay.
They say that they've put those off due to the amount of debt that they got into for college. Now, take me on the opposite hand. I'm looking at buying a house in the very near term.
Yeah.
And that's less than 2 years out of high school. None of my friends are in that position.
No, not the ones who went to college.
Right,
Anyway.
yeah.
And they may get out of college and need a couple years to get on their feet.
Yeah.
So that puts you 6 years ahead.
Right.
Yeah. It's very interesting to me, this kind of like the shift back to the trades. I think it's great.
Yeah.
It's my mission to, educate people and train them and teach them and help them to do better for themselves than they ever thought possible.
Yeah.
That's really what we're about, and we want to make sure that those young people who are coming out of high school don't feel like there's no hope at all, because the trades provides a phenomenal future.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else you got?
Let's see. What would you tell an 18-year-old in our area right now who doesn't know what to do?
For lack of anything else, get involved in an apprenticeship.
Yeah.
Like you actually just get paid to learn, right? That's the best of both worlds. You're learning, but you're getting paid. So you have, like, if you're like trying to figure out if you want to take a gap year, you want to go to college, join an apprenticeship.
Yeah.
It's no cost to you. There's everything to gain and nothing to lose, and you might find out you actually really like what you're doing.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I think if you're thinking that, oh, I'm a failure if I don't go to college, that's no way to think about it.
Yeah.
There's so many people who have had a phenomenally successful life just finding a trade, being very good at that trade, and it will provide you with a very, very good income for the rest of your life.
And here's a really good follow-up question.
Mm-hmm.
What would you tell the parents of that 18-year-old? And I want you to think about it in the mindset of somebody who grew up in the time where college was the option to have a successful life.
Yeah, I mean, it's simple for me
Mm-hmm.
because um, I saw a lot of the kids that went away to college. I mean, my choice of going into business was, I mean, I've always made more than my peer group.
Yeah.
But I've seen kids that go to college and do great. But I think from the parents' perspective, like, don't look down on your kid for deciding that they want to do something other than go to college, because right now that's a very scary place for kids, you know, because they're not sure of the future. I've got friends with kids that are finishing college and like they're literally have no hope,
Yeah.
and that's not right. We shouldn't do that to kids and put that on them, and think that if they don't join, you know, get into whatever school or this or that, that their life is meaningless, because it's not. I mean, you can have a very meaningfully productive, enjoyable life being in the trades. It's a
Yeah.
phenomenal place to be. We love it. We have a lot of fun. We probably have more fun at work than we should. You know, it's not always easy. It's not always fun, but really, I think the majority of the time it is.
Yeah.
Especially if you're with the right company.
Yeah.
I think you can find places where you don't belong, and you'll know that pretty quickly.
Yep.
I also think that anybody who chooses to go into a trade, don't just go work for anybody.
Yeah.
Like, I say go online and look at their Google reviews, because that'll tell you a lot about the company. And if you see like, oh, they're a 3-star company, like, do you really want to work for them?
Right.
You know, like,
Yeah.
if people's opinion of the work that they received was mediocre, I mean, you really do want to be with a company that is going places and doing things,
Yeah.
and has your best interest in mind.
Yeah.
You know, so look at Google reviews and also talk to them. Do you have an apprenticeship program? Do you have an accredited apprenticeship program? I mean,
Right.
that's an important question to answer, because if it's not accredited, you can spend 4 years doing an apprenticeship and not have anything to show for it at the end of the day.
Yep.
You have to make sure it's an accredited program with the Department of Labor so that you get credit for what you did.
Yeah.
And that's really critical. And then get your license, get your plumbing license, get your electrical license, because that makes you more valuable.
Yep.
That's where you're going to see the $70,000 to $100,000 a year, pay grade
Yeah.
for not putting in overtime, not having a ton of responsibility, just showing up every day and doing your job.
Yep.
You know, and right now the trades are just dying to have more people in them.
Yeah.
And especially people who care.
And this is a really great market for a young guy to be getting, or girl to be getting into right
Yeah.
now, because you do have the flexibility to go to a few companies and
Yeah.
and almost interview them, see if it's a good fit for you.
If I were an 18-year-old, I would be
Yeah.
interviewing companies rather
Right.
than companies interviewing me.
Yeah.
I'd be like, hey, what do you guys have vacation? Do you have
Right.
do you have healthcare? Do you have an apprenticeship program? What does that look like? What's my path to earning more?
Yep.
If they don't have a clear-cut path for, hey, we're going to start you at whatever, $20 or $25. We're going to start you there, and here's the clear path to how you can get to 40 or 50,
Yeah.
$60 an hour. If they don't have that spelled out, walk. Go
Yeah.
find somebody who does, because there's plenty of us out there who are doing it right, who want people to come, and we want you to earn a lot of money.
Yeah.
It makes me happy when I see people buy a house, when I see them get married, when I see them do great things in life. I mean, it really does. That's my fulfillment.
Yeah.
That's where I really see joy. And I think if you find a good fit, you find a good company that wants to see you succeed, you're gonna thrive.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be put the tool belt on again today. You can see your clear path to getting into that crew lead position, or getting into a foreman position or superintendent position, and you know how to get there, and you just work every day to get there. And I mean, in most companies, especially the faster growing companies, you'll get there within 3, 4, 5 years.
Yeah.
And you'll be making scale at that point, and that's a good life.
Yeah.
It's a good place to be with no debt. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
All right, so the trades aren't what they were 30 years ago. That is for sure. And it's also like, especially in the electrical, this is technical work. Like our people have to use their cell phones and program lights and
Yep.
use it to set up electrical panels. And
Yeah.
it's not just pulling wire and bending pipe. Like it's very technical, and it's getting more technical as we go.
By the day.
Oh yeah, it's challenging for old dinosaurs like me to figure all that out, but we get there. All right, any closing thoughts to this?
I mean, I would just encourage you to seriously think out your options. You know, I like I
Yeah.
said, I've got a lot of friends who are going to college. I've got some friends who aren't going to college.
Yeah.
And I really think that the stigma that's been developed over the past, long time,
Yeah.
is dangerous and not helpful to anybody.
Correct.
And if you're thinking ahead, just seriously think out what your life is going to look like in either option and
Yeah.
what you want out of life.
In closing,
Yeah.
to all the young people out there, and you're included in this, you need to write out your life goals.
Oh, yeah.
You need to write them down. You need to have a 5-year goal. You need to have a 10-year goal, and they need to be hard enough to where you have to work to get them.
Yeah.
That will drive you further than anything else, honestly. So set your standard high, set your goals high. Best of luck to all you young people out there looking to make a decision on whether to go to college or the trades. I don't feel like there's a wrong decision. The only wrong decision is not doing anything.
Yep.
But whatever you do, pursue it as hard as you can and work to it. Be the best that you can possibly be. Educate yourself, and I think that's it.
Yeah. Gary Vee said it better than I ever could. We have one life. Why are we not running like we're on fire towards our wildest dreams?
Gary Vee is not wrong.
Yep.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for joining us. Give it a subscribe and like if you will, and we'll see you again next week.